Welcome to Grow Overload. Now, we have AMD delaying their launch of the 9000 processors, which, with what everything Intel's been going through, I think a lot of people looked into this and were like, oh no, we're going through another um, huge problem. While we don't know that for sure yet, we'll have to see when reviews come out and see where that happens. It looks like, from some of what AMD has said, which has been, here's AMD's statement on it. We appreciate the excitement around the 9000 series processors. During the final checks, we found some initial production units were shipped to our channel partners that did not meet our full quality expectations. Out of abundance of caution and to maintain the highest quality expectations for every Ryzen user, we are working with our channel partners to replace initial production units with fresh units. As a result, there will be a short delay in retail availability. The 9700X, the Ryzen 5 9600X will go on sale on August 8th, and the Ryzen 9 9950X and the Ryzen 9 9900X processors will go on sale August 15th. We pride ourselves in providing high quality experiences for every Ryzen user. We look forward to our fans having a great experience with the new Ryzen 9000 series. And that's what AMD has said on the statement. Now, there was a leaker or hardware Twitter channel, UNIKO hardware. I'm sorry, I'm going to give you credit, but I don't want to try to pronounce that because I know I'm going to butcher it. And you put out some good information, it seems. This is what he had said, is that they started sending out some unit samples to reviewers. Some reviewers reporting way worse performance, and when they were looking into the problem, they found out that there was a problem with the SoC packaging had issues, and now they're basically recalling all the CPUs. So that's a little bit of the baseline here. Now, here's my take. If this is true that there was an SoC package, and they can just go back and from Gamers Nexus and stuff like this, you can just go and test the processor and it's a pass fail. That's actually a good thing to know, that AMD was able to catch this before it got out and be able to do the right thing, pull all those processors back, get them on the test rigs, test them all out, see if they pass, see if they fail, and take care of the failed ones as needed, and then you can get the passed ones back out to sale, which I think is the correct way of doing this, where AMD is more proactive. I feel like, there was an issue with a review unit, right? They're listening to the people that are, running these processors, or one of the sample units. They're listening to this as somebody that's actually using these processors right away. Hey, we're not seeing what you're telling us we're seeing. Is there a problem? And here AMD goes, yeah, there was a problem. We have to pull all these back. We have to make sure we're giving the user the best experience. Intel has had a 13th and 14th gen issue here, and they took forever to kind of communicate, first passing it off on the motherboards, and now they're just starting to say, yeah, there might be a problem here with microcode. And we found something. We found the root cause. We had an oxidation issue, which was in 2023, where they didn't have it, and that delay creates distrust. So I will say this: while it is disappointing that these 9000 series processors will not be in our hands in July, as I said, it is better to have a delay and to make sure that the problems that have arisen before you release the product have been double checked and verified that there's a problem and corrected, than it is to ship a product with a known problem and reviewers have that, creating a longer lasting impression of what that product is, and then they'd be for sale after reviewers, and then people with their hands having the problems and having to exchange a processor, which is if fine, I think, thing to do. Hey, you got a problem with it, ship it back, get underneath warranty. But it's not a pleasant experience, right? It's not one where you go buy your computer, you're excited to use it, and all of a sudden I have to return a processor because it's, has a defect that could have been caught before it was released. So this is why you go through and you test things. You have test rigs, and you know, as well. As much as those people go and create the microcode and processor and everything else, you got to have tests and people that create good tests on the back end to make sure that the validation is there as well. And hopefully this is as simple as the pass fail, get that all corrected and get these processors shipped out. It sounds like that they have identified the problem already and they know what the problem was, right? Because they're able to test these, and just according to Gamers Nexus, how he described it, it's just putting the processor in the test rig and you got the pass fail, and they must have found if it's an SoC issue there on the packaging, they must be able to figure that out and solve that too to make sure that this is going up to snuff when it is being released. So I'm glad to see that, but things like this happen, and people say AMD is being delayed and they're not being able to take advantage of Intel's missteps. We're going to get the microcode, Intel SID mid-August. These processors are still coming out mid-August. I think that the bigger thing here is that we're all banking on the microcode update to fix the Intel's issue, and you, I am unsure and cautious about it fixing the issue. I'm optimistic it will, but if you've already had damage to your CPU, I think that there's still opportunity here, because as these users of the Intels go through and start, maybe pushing the processors more or using the processors more, even after the microcode fix, is there still going to be an issue? Now, also on that, is there an issue that Intel's not thinking about is getting this microcode to every processor that needs it, right? Because if they don't, they have another problem that they have to deal with. So this is a complex issue for Intel, and if they can't get it, the microcode to everybody that needs it, and they keep using the processor degrades, Intel's got to just take care of that and make sure that these processors um, get replaced. So I think there's still opportunity here for AMD, but AMD has to make sure that they release something that didn't have a problem that they know about. Because let's say there's multiple levels of different annoyances, right? Let's say AMD knew about the problem, which they clearly did, and they didn't pull the processor back. Well, then that were to slip out, because it's going to slip out, everyone's going to be frustrated why AMD didn't delay the launch to make sure that they had that all fixed. That's the way it's going to be. Even though you could get a processor out right on time, or any product out on time, if you knew about it, that was something else. Now, if you don't know about it and you take your time to do something about it, aka Intel here, people get frustrated because you're not communicating with them on what it might be, and hopefully that they have something so that they can actually go through uh, and notify the users during that time and having an update. But Intel decided not to do that. And there is, some information that's been out there that Intel knew that there was something up. Just, I mean, we even said they even said they were going to have a statement back in May, throwing their motherboard manufacturer underneath the bus, right? Instead, this should have been more measured. As we're taking a look at this, we have no idea what's going on, but we will keep you updated. We'll do an update maybe every 2 weeks, every week, every month, something like that, until we have a resolution to this, instead of going radio silent. And I think part of all of this is the simple communication. Well, me personally, I like AMD to go in more detail, but that's the engineer in me, right? I'd like to know what's exactly wrong with it. But here are the things: is just having that communication with the consumer makes the consumer feel like you want them to use their product, and to make sure that they're coming back to get your product again. And I think that is lost in a lot of what some of these companies decide to do. And if you can just take a little bit of communication, it takes a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, but I think that if companies started to realize how big the communication is with the customer, they'd have a better connection, and the consumer would actually want to go back to the product, instead of sometimes getting really annoyed about it or annoyed about their communication. So with that, let me know what your thoughts are on the delay of the 9000 series Ryzen 9000 series processors. Let me know if you're concerned about anything going forward, if you're concerned about how processors are being manufactured in general lately, considering the few issues we've had. But leave that in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching Grave Alone and helping this channel grow. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell icon, watch another one of my videos. It really does help out the channel. Until next time, God bless.